Guys, thank you for joining this channel once more. Okay, so we are going to be making this beautiful trouser, sexy trouser that you are seeing on this screen. Okay, and this trouser is very beautiful for those of us that do not have hips, that are not that well endowed around the hip area. Okay, because this trouser is going to be highlighting your hips. Okay, it's going to be highlighting your hips, making your hips to look more pronounced. Guys, I'm not a hippie person, but when I made this trouser for myself, everybody was like, make for me, make for me, make for me, make for me. Okay, so if you are ready to go into the ready to wear business, this is one of the styles that you are supposed to put out there. Make it and wear it for yourself, and you see people rushing for you to make for them. Okay, so let's go right into this tutorial. I will be making this particular trouser, palazzo trouser, that is on your screen. Okay, so you can see it's a very beautiful trouser, and guys, I can tell you for free, it's very easy to make. So if you look at that trouser, the down part of it, you will see that it looks like a flare, right? So if you say you want to make it extra wide so that you pleat that waist, it won't give that fitting that you are seeing on that waist, because I already tried it, guys. So I'll be working on just the bodies of the trouser. You know how to create your band. Now that rope, the belt you are seeing in front of it, was just attached by the two sides. As you can see in the other picture, the belt did not go around, it was just attached to the two sides and then was tied to the front. So you know how to tie your bow, make your bow tie, and you can add it anyhow you want. You can want your own to start from the back, but you can want your own rope to be tied to the back, but this particular one, they tied the rope to the front. Okay, and then this trouser has a zip. You can put the zip at the side, at the back, or in the front. From what I'm seeing now, this trouser has an invisible zip and is at the back. If you look at the back very well, you see it at the back. Now if you look at the hem of the trouser, you will see that this trouser looks like flare. It looks like flare. So we are going to be creating that effect before we will now add the extra inches of the palazzo that we are going to pleat on the waist area. Okay, so here I have cut out my trouser pattern. Okay, this is my trouser pattern and I have cut it out. Okay, I've cut it out. Now to create that flare effect you are seeing on the hem of the trouser, okay, to create that hem effect, we are going to be using splash and spread. Okay, we are going to be using, there are two things we are going to be doing to this trouser now. Okay, this is the pattern. There are two things we are going to be doing. We are going to be creating this flare effect at this down part of the trouser. Okay, we are going to be creating this flare effect. Now after creating the flare effect, we are going to still add that inches that will still come down to make it extra large at the down part of it. Okay, so two step is what we are doing in this trouser bodies. The band, you know how to create the band. If you don't know how to create your trouser band, I did a tutorial on how to create our skirt and trouser band, and I'll be attaching the link on the description box so you can go check it out. So I'm only working on this part. So this trouser is minus the band. This pattern you are seeing is minus the band. Okay, so first thing we are going to do is to create the flare effect that we are seeing around the hem area. Okay, then after that we'll now create the extra inch that came down that made it to flow very wide. Now to create that, we are going to be using splash and spread. Now for you to use splash and spread, we are going to be splashing through the grid line. Okay, you draw your grid line. Okay, you know what is called grid line. If you don't know what is grid line, I'll be attaching the illustration I made on how to create your palazzo trouser. I'll be attaching it on the description box so you can check it out, that one out too. So now to create the splash and spread, okay, we are going to be connecting a line from here. Okay, and you connect a line from the hip line. Okay, take it a little bit above the hip line. Okay, the same thing you did is what you are still going to do here. Okay, but while doing it, make sure that your line starts on the same area with the front pattern. Okay, so now we have marked where it stopped. This is the back pattern. Okay, this is the back pattern, and the initial one is the front pattern. Okay, so now this is what we'll do. In making this trouser is very simple, but you have to invest in pattern a lot. Okay, if not, you will not get that effect. And if you say, okay, I don't want to use pattern, let me just cut it anyhow, honestly, you'll be surprised at the effect you are going to get. It won't be fine. Okay, but if you do it this way that I've shown you, you will definitely get that full effect, and you will not be getting that flare effect from it too. This trouser is not an ordinary palazzo trouser. It's a palazzo trouser that has like a flare. Okay, so now you will place it on another pattern, the two of them. Okay, you will place it on another pattern and spread it as wide as possible, and then you cut out. You will spread it as wide as possible, but mark the separation you put here. Mark the separation you put here. Okay, so you'll be able to remember the measurement. So it depends on you. Whatever you can play with, it depends on you. So my own is 1.5 inch. Okay, the distance is 1.5 inch. Okay, so the distance is 1.5 inches. Okay, so you mark it. I've known that is 1.5 inch, so that I'll be able to give exactly that same spacing on the back pattern. Okay, so that it will be equal measurement. Okay, you can see what I did. Okay, now the reason why I split here and split here is so that this place can easily spread. Okay, if we do not split into here and split into here, it will not, it will spread, but this place will gather up like this. So if you want your splash and spread to slip very well on your pattern paper, you try to split it the way it's going to make it easy for it to spread. Okay, so this is our back pattern, which is ready. Okay, now we'll work on the front pattern. Let's cut it out. Okay, so now is the turn of the front pattern. Okay, now we are going to be spreading the front pattern. Remember that the wideness in between here was 1.5 inches. Okay, 1.5 inches, so we are going to be marking 1.5 inches. Okay, so we are placing it this way, 1.5 inches. So we are now going to mark out. Guys, this trouser is a very beautiful and very sexy trouser that if you want to go into the ready to wear business, you can use it, because it's a trouser that when you finish making it and you wear, a lot of people will want to buy. So this is the front pattern. Okay, this is the front pattern. Okay, so guys, you can see our front pattern, right, that we split. Okay, you can see our front pattern. We are discarding this one, so this is our new pattern. Okay, this is the front and this is the back. Now we will still measure to get the center. Okay, let's assume that I have measured. You measure to mark your center. Now I'm marking my center again this way. Measure it to me. I'm not measuring because this is just a rough work. Okay, you measure it. Okay, now so we come to the final thing that you are going to do on this trouser. Okay, now you split through here. This is where you will get the effect of the pleating. You split through here, okay, and you split this one too. You will split this one totally. Now whatever gap you give in the front pattern, you will give exactly the same gap in the back pattern. Okay, so now I want to give a gap of, guys, you know that this is a mini illustration. Now when you are making your own, in all this gap you can give as much as 4 inches because this is a very wide palazzo trouser. Okay, so now I want to still give the same 1.5 inch. The same 1.5 inch. Okay, and then I will mark it out. Make sure that the upper part is still 1.5 inch. And then we cut out. So the same distance you gave here, which is 1.5 inch, that is how we are going to be spreading this one too. Okay, and please mark it. This is the back. Now the same 1.5 inch is what we are going to still be marking around here. Okay, so you place it to make sure that it's the same 1.5 inch. Then you mark it out. Okay, you mark it out. Okay, so this is our final cutting. Okay, you mark this to be the front. Okay, so this is our final cutting. Okay, so when you are cutting on your fabric, when you get here, you will mark here and here. You will notch it so that you will know the gap that you are going to be pleating. Okay, you will know that, okay, this thing is going to now be like this. I will still be cutting it on my fabric, but I just want you to know, see how it looks like. Okay, so you will know that, okay, gumming this place together. Now here will be open. Okay, now on the back pattern too, you will know that okay, I'm doing it like so. So you can see. Okay, so when you are stitching the back this way, and then you will end your stitch somewhere around before you get to the hip, somewhere around here. Now wherever you are going to stitch here and end it, also stitch it that way and end it on the back pattern. Whatever you do on the back pattern, front pattern, you will do on the back pattern. So just like your normal trouser pattern, okay, you are going to be cutting 2 of this and 2 of this. My initial straight trouser, palazzo trouser, okay, for the front, and this is the end product. Okay, this is the end product. Now you can see the flay effect. If you say you don't want to do this splash and spread, okay, and then you say because it was, you saw that it was splitted here, it was pleated here, and you decide that you just go ahead and add inches here and you pleat it the way they pleated it, you will get a straight cut that will not give you that fitting from the hip. It's this splash and spread we did here, this thing we did here, this splash and spread we did this way, that made the flay to have this flay effect from here. Okay, so this style is very beautiful for us that do not have hips. Okay, for we that do not have plenty hips, it highlights our hips. Okay, it highlights the hip. So when you are pleating, you are going to pleat and end it somewhere around before you get to your hip line. Do well to mark it out so that you'll be seeing all these lines. Okay, so you pleat it and end it around before you get to the hip line. Okay, that way you will achieve this fullness around the hips. So I go on to cut it out on my fabric. If you want to see how the outlook looks like, watch me in the next video. I will show you everything, even on the fabric. I'll show you, I'll be showing the end product. I'll be showing the end product. Okay, I'll be showing me wearing it. It's a beautiful design, so let's go ahead and make it.